This video is part 1 in a series about chords. If you're a beginner musician who's looking to learn more about how chords are built and also how to interpret crazy shapes like these, then stick around. Like a lot of my theory videos, let's begin with the C major scale. C major is only natural notes, meaning there are no sharps or flats. The notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Let's number these notes in order in which they are presented. C is number 1, D is number 2, E is number 3, and so on and so forth. These markings are referred to as the scale degrees. So let's use this scale to help us understand chords. A chord is 3 or more notes played in harmony with one another. The most basic kind of chord is the triad. A triad is a 3-note shape consisting of a root note, a third, and a fifth. These phrases, root note, third, and fifth, are referring back to the scale degrees of the major scale. Root note represents scale degree number 1, third represents scale degree number 3, and you guessed it, fifth represents scale degree number 5. This combination of root note, third, and fifth is incredibly fundamental to any chord, whether it's a basic triad or the more extended types. The triad will look like a snowman on the staff, occupying 3 consecutive spaces or 3 consecutive lines. The bottom of the snowman is the root note, the middle of the snowman is the third, and the head of the snowman is the fifth. There are 4 kinds of triads: major, minor, diminished, and augmented. The major triad, which is often plainly referred to as the major chord, is built from the first, third, and fifth degrees of the major scale as they are. This is the most basic kind of triad. The other types will feature some alterations to these scale degrees. CEG makes up the C major chord. If we were to measure the distance between the third and the root note in this scale, it would be described as a major third. If we were to measure the distance between the fifth and the root note in this scale, it would be a perfect fifth. These phrases, major third and perfect fifth, are interval types. An interval is the distance between 2 notes. And to fully understand how chords are built or named, you do need to have a baseline understanding of intervals. Check out my videos on that linked below if you want to learn more about that topic. To summarize the major chord, it consists of an unaltered first, third, and fifth degree from the major scale. Our next type of triad, the minor chord, is only slightly different. In the minor chord, you actually take that third and you lower it a half step. So in our example, it would not be C, E, G, but C, E flat, G. And this flatted third is also referred to as a minor third in the interval world. Usually when written, a minor chord has a letter symbol followed by a lowercase m. So C minor would be C, lowercase m. Some musicians even use a minus sign as a replacement for the lowercase m. So, to briefly summarize, the minor chord consists of a first, a flatted third, and a fifth. The diminished chord has an additional alteration. You lower the third and the fifth degree a half step. So the C diminished chord would be C, E flat, and G flat. The fifth being lowered would be referred to as a diminished fifth in the interval world. Diminished chords have this little circular symbol at the top. The augmented chord takes us in a brighter direction. The third is normal, but the fifth is raised a half step, giving us the notes C, E, and G sharp. A raised fifth is also referred to as an augmented fifth, and augmented chords usually have a plus symbol next to them. To summarize, here are the 4 types of triads altogether. So now that we've discussed the basic type of chords, the 4 types of triads specifically, we can get into the first kind of chord extension, which is the 7th chord. A 7th chord is when we attach a 7th degree to the basic triad. So let's focus back on the C major scale. Our 7th degree in this scale is the B note. So in order to become some kind of 7 chord, we would need to include the B. So the major triad, as we've established, is C, E, G. If we include the B into this shape, then we would call the chord C major 7. An unaltered 7 in the major scale is a major 7th interval from the root note, which is why we write out maj 7. So think of this name as an equation. It's a C major triad plus a major 7 interval, a B note, and that gets us C major 7, the chord. If we were to pair the C major triad, CEG, with a flatted B, which is a minor 7 interval from the root note, it would be written plainly as C7. When you add a flat 7 to any chord, all you have to do is just write 7. You don't have to write min 7 for minor 7 or flat 7, just 7. This chord also may be referred to as C dominant 7, but it remains written as C7. So, those are the two types of 7th chords for the major triad, but there are 7th chord combinations for the three other types of triads. The minor triad, in our example, which is C, E flat, G, combine that with a regular B, which is a major 7, and it would be written as C minor major 7. Again, think of it as an equation. We have a minor triad plus a major 7. This equals C minor major 7. The minor triad plus the flat 7, which would be B flat, would be written just as C minor 7. Again, flat 7s are just written as 7 in chord nomenclature. You don't have to write anything additional. The diminished triad has a slightly different situation. Typically, the diminished chord is paired with a flat 7 or a double flatted 7, which intervallically is referred to as a diminished 7th. The diminished triad plus a flat 7 is called the half diminished chord, and usually it is written with a slash through the diminished symbol. It can also be referred to as C minor 7 flat 5. The diminished chord with a double flatted 7 is called the fully diminished chord, and it would be written as a C diminished 7 without the slash. You could also theoretically pair the diminished triad with a regular diatonic 7, the major 7, though it is much less common. The C diminished triad plus the major 7 would be written as C diminished major 7 or C minor major 7 flat 5. The augmented triad, paired with a regular diatonic 7, would be referred to as C augmented major 7, or alternatively C major 7 sharp 5. The augmented triad paired with a flat 7 would be called C augmented 7 or C7 sharp 5. So those are the several types of 7th chords altogether. Now, I think it needs to be stated that while we use C major as the primary example for this video, you can obviously have chords of other letter types too. If you want to identify any E chord, simply pull up the E major scale and plug in the information we talked about in this video accordingly. An E major triad would be E G sharp B, an E minor would be E G B, an E diminished triad would be E G B flat, and an E augmented triad would be E G sharp B sharp. If you wanted to add a 7th degree, a major 7 would be D sharp, a minor 7 would be D, and a diminished 7 would be D flat. The main takeaway is that the major scale is fundamentally important in terms of interpreting and identifying chords. Anyways, we'll leave the video at that. In part 2, we will talk about further extensions to these types of chords. Have a great rest of your day and be sure to subscribe.